Hi, everybody. We're working in Photoshop again today, and today we're using a beautiful image, giraffes.jpg. So go and download that photo file from the Bloomsbury webpage for Graphic Design Essentials and come back here, and I'll get us started in Photoshop. Okay, let's open the giraffes.jpg file. This was shot in Tanzania by my friend Eliza's husband, Jay Zuko. Isn't this gorgeous? And the first thing we're going to do, looks like I've already got started with the crop tool. So the crop tool, as we talked about last session, is a permanent change to a file. But I think we can bring the top edge and the sides in a little bit so that we can see these beautiful animals a little bit more closely. And one of the things I want you to think about as you're making this crop is how can we use the rule of thirds to maybe emphasize the fact that there's a wildebeest running through these three giraffes. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. And just a reminder, one of the ways we can achieve perhaps best results using the rule of thirds is to put a focal point at the intersection of one of these uh, intersections of the rules. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, rows and columns. And once we're happy with our crop, let's press return. Very good. Now I'd like to remind you about the image size window. Let's see what we're dealing with. So since we took some dimensions off, we started with a file that was about 15 inches wide. We have about a 20 megabyte file and we have a 300 resolution, right? So I think it would be best if we can have a more manageable size that's 5 inches tall. And this little icon, as you know, when that's selected, the software will make the proportionate scale change for the other dimension. So let's press OK here. And then you can press Command plus to zoom back in, because the next thing we're going to do is pretty exciting to me. I hope you'll agree. So the dodge and burn tool, they're way down past the middle of the toolbox. It may look like a dark lollipop, that's the dodge tool, or it may have a little hand, and that's, at least it looks like a hand to me, and that's the burn tool. The dodge tool gradually lightens an area of an image, and the burn tool gradually darkens an area. We're going to use both on this image. So let me see. What I want to do is see if I can bring up some of the detail. Here's my hand tool on the nose or head of this giraffe. Okay, so I'm going to get back to my dodge tool. And I can see that my brush size is a little bit too large a diameter. So I will make that a little bit smaller. Let's see that's pretty good. You want it to be not too small. This is pretty good. I've got mine at about 40. All right, let's see what happens. If I just drag up even once from the nostrils to the brows, I can make a subtle change. Let me do, that might be a little bit too much. One of the ways you can evaluate these changes, and I'll move my hand tool over a little bit, is the history panel. So let's take a look at that history panel. So the history panel is going to step through, here's our open stage, here's our crop stage, and you can step through all of these stages and try to evaluate. So before the crop, let's press Command 0 to see the giraffe. And then here's after the, let me zoom in so we can have a consistent view. Are you getting used to the keyboard shortcuts? Command plus zooms in, Command minus zooms out incrementally. So here we have two passes of the dodge tool. Here we have one pass of the dodge tool. And here we have the original. So definitely I like the second one. This might be a little bit too light. Okay, so let's go with this one. And then press Command 0 to see the entire image again. The other thing that I want to do is use the burn tool. So the burn tool is going to gradually darken an area. And what I want to do is gradually darken this upper hillside in a way that it's not noticeable, okay? And the reason I would want to do that, and this is actually fairly common, is so text would be more legible over it. Imagine this was going on a web page, home page, and you needed to have a title over this part of the image. Okay, so now my brush diameter is a little too small, so I'm going back up to my options bar and I'm choosing, let's see if about 300 will work. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. So now we have the burn tool selected. This is going to gradually darken. Oh, look how nice that is. I love it. Ah, this was a lucky choice. Okay, so let's take the history palette. And here's where we began, and here's where we dodged it. And to my eyes, I mean, I haven't been to Tanzania personally, but I feel like that's pretty natural change, not noticeable or obnoxious change. So I am going to do one more thing here. And what I'd like to do is change to a low, well, let's say this. Command S is a keyboard shortcut, but a lot of times you want to maybe designate from your beginning file to an edited file. So dodged, burned. We could save that as a JPEG, I guess. That'll save us some space size-wise. I'm sticking with maximum. And now the other thing I want to do in this section is just make this, give us a low-res version. And the way we'll do that is pretty simple. We're going to change, in the image size window, we will change the resolution from 300 to 72 for low res. So the file is appearing smaller on your screen. You can press Command minus, ooh, I can see pixels more as I zoom in there. So do you remember why we would use a 72 resolution? It does compress the file. There's less data, there's less detail, but it is also going to load faster for a digital product. Okay. And now we'll save that as a low-res version. So I do want to emphasize a strategy that I hope you'll stick with in your work life and personal work. When you have a high-res 300 resolution file, do your best to save that high-res version. Keep it pristine. And as you make changes and you're happy with changes and you're working with a high-res file, yes, save it at the high-res. But as you or your clients need a low-res, save that separately. Never save over the high-res file. You typically, clients, these relationships can last for a long time, years, and you might very well need to get back to that high-res original version. Okay. I think we are good here. Let's just check that file size just out of curiosity. All right, so now we're down to about a 500K file, 72 resolution, and that's going to be a lot more manageable with digital products. Well done, everybody, and I'll see you again.